I am today your host, Paul, and I'm with my good pal Scott, aka FPL Heavy Metal. We will be talking game week 21, which seems an eternity ago after our FA Cup escapades over the weekend, and how we plan for game week 22. How you doing, Scott?
I'm okay, I guess. Life is good. I won't be wearing my shirt, my Palace shirt, out in public for a while. How things change. I mean, we just love to make history, right? Yeah, but life's good. FPL is not so good, but we'll discuss that in a bit.
Yeah. I go away for a week, and I have 2 rocky game weeks in a row. It's it's almost as if I wasn't focused on it.
Well, I have been focused on it, and I've had 4 shocking weeks on the bounce, so I'm going to have less focus on it, and hopefully it turns around.
I'm sure it will, mate. I'm sure it will. A manager of your class will bounce back.
It's been shocking.
Okay, mate. So shall we get into conversation
let's do it.
for game week 21? Keeping coast away. So obviously it was such a while ago. I tried to keep these very top line, you could say.
Yeah.
Very much focused on the here and now. But yeah, from last weekend, and I guess also going into FA Cup weekend, the forwards are starting to find their form, starting to give us an FPL selection headache.
Yeah. I mean, we both did the Thiago out to Ekitike move, which has proved to be an absolute wild decision. Thiago hadn't had a shot on target for 6 game weeks, and then all of a sudden pops in 5 goals in 2 weeks. I mean, what's all that about?
You can't call those, right? That's such an anomaly. Whoever had him, and obviously got the fruits of their labour by holding on to him.
I guess the only thing you can say is that Thiago is a 90-minute man. He plays every game, and we bang that drum week in, week out, don't we? That those players are golden in FPL, because at some point they're gonna return. So I guess it's one of those cases that we lost patience, just happened to lose it at the wrong time. But there was no evidence to say that was going to happen. So
he wasn't
you can't call it.
There was. It's not like we could hold on to. Oh, his underlying data is good. The goals are coming. He wasn't even shooting. So to not shoot, and then all of a sudden, again, the chances he's scored from, he's probably had 5 shots in those 2 games and scored them.
It was that he had no data. He wasn't shooting. His wingman in Django Watara was at AFCON. So all the stars aligned to say get rid. It's just one of those things, isn't it? I mean, my season's been a little bit of mistakes like that, or decisions that have the outcomes like that. I guess you live and learn. I mean, do you go back to him now, or do you think you've you've missed that boat?
Well, for me, looking at the Brentford fixtures, I think we've probably missed the boat.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest. So, but yeah, I guess there's other players which I think we'll talk about, because again, it seems to be the hot topic at the moment. Who to put alongside Haaland? Still, the magic formula has not been found clearly.
Yeah, the options.
Players.
We'll get onto it, but there's options, I guess. Restructuring your team and what have you. And we got Ekitike. He's likely going to play against Burnley, so let's hope for Ekitike owners that he returns this week and Thiago doesn't.
Fingers crossed.
All right.
Next, Semenyo signing off on style for Bournemouth against Spurs, and then he's had a cracking start to his life with City, scoring 3 goals already. So, again, another conundrum for Semenyo owners of what to do with him, because I must admit, when I saw he was going to City because of Pep Roulette, my first thought was he's less of an asset, but obviously the quality of the player that he is, I'm now swinging the other way. I'm flip-flopping all over the place.
Wow. So I mean, he couldn't have signed off his Bournemouth career in any greater style. I mean, if you were a Hollywood scriptwriter, to score with virtually the last touch of your Bournemouth career and score with it is something else, and it was a hell of a goal. So Bournemouth fans, get that signing off present, and like you say, he signs for City, hits the ground running. I mean, everyone knows about Pep Roulette, okay. I think Semenyo signing for them is like that roulette ball is now a hand grenade going off because they have so many options now. I was thinking if you had Semenyo, like you have that unique situation at the moment, you actually have 4 Man City players at the moment, and you'll be forced to remove one of them when you come to do a transfer. I don't envy you that decision who you remove and who you keep because I think it's quite a hard decision to make.
I'm struggling.
Yeah, but just to run through the options, I mean, if you're a Foden owner, his minutes have got to be compromised at some point. He's not really performing.
He's the one that concerns me the most. But also, you know how good a player Foden is, and he has been fairly consistent minutes wise up until now. So, it's just the unknown. There's too many unknowns with City. That's the hard part.
Well, look, you got Foden, you got Cherky, you got Bernardo Silva, Reinders, Doku, Marmoush to come back, and Oscar Bob to come back from injury. So you got 7 players vying for a maximum of 4 positions on any given game week. Then you chuck Semenyo in there. So it's 8 for 4 positions. I mean, you cannot call it because you know it will change week on week. I think if you have City midfielders, you just got to get them in, play them, and hope they return when they play.
Yeah, agreed. I guess we can discuss that decision when we get to my team because it's certainly in the back of my mind for this game week. And then, a bit of a manager merry-go-round in the last week or so. So obviously, Enzo departing from Chelsea and Liam Rosenior being flown in from the second team, Blue Red Zone in Strasbourg. It's a nice little feeder club they've got there for managers and players alike.
Yeah.
So he's at the helm. Obviously, he's got managerial experience in English football in the Championship. He looks to be a forward-thinking manager for sure, from the small snippets I have seen of him. But what are your first thoughts?
Well, Palace played Strasbourg in the Conference League this year, so I did a bit of research on them and on him for that game, and very forward thinking. I mean, he's a bit of an innovator. I don't know if you've seen his tactic with the goalkeeper getting involved in the build-up play. But it looks very interesting. And when we played them over in Strasbourg, we missed 2 open goals because we nicked the ball off the keeper when he was about 40 yards from goal. We hit the bar and the post on that occasion. So it's a big risk they take. And when we get onto our Chelsea chat, I've got an interesting angle on who I think will be between the sticks
cool.
for that build-up, because I just think Sanchez probably isn't the guy. But
I'll be interested to hear that because
because the chap they got at Strasbourg is a guy called Pender. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's also a Chelsea loanee.
That's why I'm familiar with him.
And he's very good with his feet. Plays that role very well. So I think a keeper of his sort of footballing ability is what Rosenior will look for. He plays with flying fullbacks, so a flat back four, but with the fullbacks pushed right on. Should be entertaining. I can see them scoring lots and probably conceding a fair few. Interesting. I mean, you were away for the Maresca debacle. I also played out, and it was a bit strange. Me and Darren had a quick chat about it last week that he had some contractual obligation to tell the Chelsea hierarchy if he was being tapped up or talking to other clubs. And apparently he went and told him he'd been talking to City. So good on him for being honest. Yeah. Who knows?
Honesty is not always the best policy in this case.
Well, I mean, if that turns out to be true, I mean, surely that means that Pep is thinking of leaving. So it opens up all sort of wormholes and discussion, doesn't it? None of it's based in fact. It's just hearsay, and who knows how it's going to play out for the rest of the year.
Okay, and then I guess on to our next sacking, which has felt inevitable for a while. Amorim, obviously drawing away to Burnley, another, I guess, poor result against a lower team in the table, and they've decided to put Carrick in place for the remainder of the season, try and steady the ship.
Yeah.
What's your take on this one?
Well, like you said, the writing's been on the wall for Amorim for some time, I guess. Performances have been pretty poor. But then at the start of game week 21, I looked at the league table and saw they were 5th, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, considering the results, some of the results they've had this season.
Well, just the performances as a whole, they've been so indifferent. I even said to Darren, I thought someone had been giving them 4 points for a win instead of the 3 to get them in that position, because I just couldn't believe they were that high up. Carrick's come in to steady the ship, to see them through till the summer. And what I read was they think that there'll be a couple of outstanding candidates come the summer. So the pool of managers will be pretty high. The caliber will be pretty strong, and they feel they'll be in a better position to hire someone from there. So I guess the rebuild starts next season. They've been saying that for probably 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, I think that's my fear with Man United is their ownership model. It seems to be broken. It's been broken for a long time, and I think we've had lots of discussions in our football chats with lots of Man United fans, and I think they felt similar. Obviously, they're clinging on to the hope that, I guess, a manager or a signing or something can click that kind of gets it to work. But if the core of the club is essentially broken, it's going to be difficult for anyone going in there. And we've seen that. There's some talented managers that have gone in there, and obviously since the new ownership model has taken place, they've spent a fair amount of money. They've brought a fair amount of managers in that time, and they've all fell to the wayside. And yeah, I just struggle to see who goes in there and can, I guess, get on top of all that.
Well, some big names in the summer. So Oliver Glasner from our club, my club, will be potentially available if he doesn't sign a new contract, which is in the sort of discussion stages at the moment.
Yeah.
There's other names floating around. Of course, Xabi Alonso is now available, having left Real, and Enrique as well will be free in the summer. They're the names I've heard sort of being banded around that United will be looking for. So 3 pretty high profile managers, as opposed to going to Amorim, who was a bit of a left field pick in the first place. I think they're going to go for a tried and tested big name and try and build around an established manager in future. What I heard about Carrick's appointment was that he never asked about staying on if he was successful in this interim spell, whereas Ollie and the other candidates that were interviewed were sort of interested in staying on. So I think that sort of highlights that United aren't looking to promote those 3 or keep them on, that they will be looking for a bigger name in the summer.
Okay. Again, yeah, Carrick's got, again, good championship experience. Obviously, he knows the club very well. Again, I wouldn't be, I guess, overly enamoured, excited with this appointment as if I was a Man United fan, but I guess only time will tell if he can start getting a tune out of them.
Well, I thought actually the biggest point to come out of that was Steve Holland being his assistant. I really rate Steve Holland as a coach, as like a man manager. He should be, in my rights, in my view, probably a manager of his own standing. Worked really well with Southgate in England setup. I thought he was more of standout option than Carrick himself.
Okay. Well, Ben White not to Man United in any time soon in that case.
Well, that is true.
And then I guess finally we'll have a quick conversation over this. I don't want to dig into you too much, Scott, because I'm sure you're still hurting over it. But the magic of the FA Cup well and truly come to play. Obviously, with you guys playing Macclesfield and being the reigning champions. Yeah, it must have been a tough pill to swallow and a tough performance to watch.
Well, we just love being a part of history. So we win the FA Cup in May, first time in our history, and then we thought, well, how can we better that? We better that by being record breakers. 117 places between the two clubs is a record gap in FA Cup history. The first holders or defending champs to be knocked out by non-league opponents in the third round. Yeah, we just love being a part of history, mate. And all I can say is that we take the silver linings that we are history makers and will continue to be.
Yeah, I think that's it in a nutshell. I think that's the glory of, I guess, of the FA Cup. Is those upsets happen every year. Maybe not as glamorous as that, but they do happen all the time. And it's also a good way for teams that are struggling to maybe try and find some form. Teams like Wolves, for example, who obviously had a good day at the office, scoring 6 themselves. So,
well, I think the FA Cup over the last few years has probably taken a bit of a battering in terms of its shine and its glory and its sort of prestige within the fixture calendar. And without being too dramatic, I think we winning it last year put a bit of that back in there, bit of the magic back into the cup. And all joking aside, Macclesfield fully deserved that win. We were absolutely appalling. Looked like the players just turned up and thought all they had to do was turn up to win the game. And the Macclesfield were to a man were better than us. So yeah, I mean that's why we love football. I think it's the only sport I can think of that can throw up results like that. No other sport comes close.
yeah.
And just shows you that if you don't turn up and perform to your level in every single game, these things can happen.
Yeah, and we're probably the one and only nation around the world that has a cup competition that goes to the lengths of the leagues that it does. So
yep.
it truly does create some amazing results and amazing memories for fan bases alike. So
absolutely.
All right, mate. Let's forget about that and get on to game week.
It's forgotten about.
22. Again, I just want to shout out Fantasy Football Edits, the website. I would definitely be at a loss without them for creating these assets. And some of the assets that they create off their own back that are not currently available on their website, like that fixture difficulty rating, are wonderful. So again, all credit to them and helping the FPL landscape because it's awesome. Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the fixture certificate rating. It's in alphabetical order. It's not in difficulty ranking. But we've got the main team there, Chelsea, who I think are probably the top of that fixture difficulty ranking with West Ham, Wolves, and Leeds in a row. And I think Burnley in game week 27 as well from memory.
Yep.
So a lovely set of fixtures on paper. And yeah, so I've highlighted some of the ones to watch that I thought were worth discussing. Obviously, there are other players within their team, and especially with Rossini coming in, could there be other players worth watching that he knows more about from maybe his time at Strasbourg? Do you want to start here, Scott, on Chelsea?
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea would be top of that. That fixture ticket was ordered in order of difficulty. Then Chelsea would be top of that list because their next 6 are, dreamy. If you want to cherry pick six fixtures, they're the 6 in a row that they have. starting with Brentford, who are in form, but are gettable. Then it's Palace, who are in a bit of a trough, as we've already mentioned. And hopefully that'll be the last time we mention Palace on this podcast. And then 4 of the best fixtures you can have coming up with the 3 newly promoted sides and Wolves put in there. So brilliant run of 6. And we thought we'd just run through the Chelsea triple up and try and analyse how we think the new manager will set up. I have a sort of rough idea of how he'll set up in terms of formation. In terms of personnel, I guess it's a bit up in the air. As we're recording this, they're playing Arsenal in the EFL first leg semi-final tonight, and he's picked a very curious team, which looks like it's more geared for saving legs for the weekend.
Yeah.
Which is odd, being a semi-final of a cup competition. But yeah, a couple of players in there that don't regularly get minutes in the league, like Mike Ewer up front and the like. I know they're missing a few. I miss James is out tonight. Gusto, Palmer are all sidelined tonight, but I don't think they have long-term issues. They might be back for the weekend.
I believe they're all being rested by the looks of it. Maybe slight knocks here and there. But I think most can't leave their minutes just being managed for this weekend.
But those run of fixtures, you've got to be looking at a double, if not a triple up on Chelsea players. So we thought it'd be an interesting debate, the conversation of who we think that the best 3 are. There's a few names on that list. I think I'll start with just point out the best. You'll probably agree with me. And I think it has to be Enzo Fernandez. Has got to be the best pick.
Yeah. I think for me, Enzo is almost the guaranteed pick. If you're picking a couple of Chelsea players, he would be top of the list, mainly because his minutes are guaranteed. He's on a lot of set pieces. I think I have a feeling there's a world where he moves to number 10. With Caicedo obviously coming in at the weekend. And I know that Rossignol likes Andre Santos, and he's starting to get more minutes. So I think that's a possibility. So if Enzo Fernandez is at number 10, then again, he's more of an attacking threat. So for me, Enzo is probably the guaranteed pick.
I mean, FPL terms, he's only 6.4 million as well.
It's a drop in the ocean, really.
Well, it's most managers be able to get to him in one move if you don't already have him in. I know he was the flavour of the month a few weeks back, and he point dodged like no one's business. So people might be burnt by that. I've never owned him this season, so I haven't experienced that. I've just done the other player in the league to do that to me, Anton Semenyo being the main culprit. So
he's done me fine, mate.
Well, he has, yeah. So if we're talking about how we think Rossignol is going to set up, like I said, I think he's going to play with a flat back 4 with the fullbacks pushed high on. I think you're right with Caicedo and Santos in the pivot. If it's not Santos, it'll probably be Reece James, because I can't see James going back to that right back position.
Agreed.
So it'd probably be a bit of interchange between James and Santos in there, which, like you say, frees up Fernandez to push forward. So if he's in the 10, that means that if Palmer's fit, then Palmer plays on the right. Which I think, in my view, he's more of a threat in that role, coming in on his left foot. I think when he plays the 10, he tends to drop too deep, and it doesn't really suit his style. He comes too deep because he wants to be involved the whole time.
Yeah, he likes touching the ball, doesn't he?
Yeah. So what do you think of Palmer? I mean, he's very expensive. He hasn't really shown a lot of form, but we all know how good he is on his day when he is fit and firing. So what do you think of him as an option?
I certainly think he's an option. I'm not sure if he's an option from game week 22. I would probably monitor Chelsea for the next couple of game weeks, and if he starts playing and starts finding his form in these next 2 game weeks, then look at him for West Ham. But obviously, you need a nice amount of budget. to be able to swing that. So you probably need to be on the likes of a Saka or a Fernandez or someone of that nature to be able to get to him in one move. So again, either save up your transfers and plan multiple moves, or plan to ditch one of your premium midfielders if you've got one, or a premium striker if you have one.
Yeah, or so when we get onto the striker chat, there is an option of taking all the money out of that front line. So maybe affording a Saka and a Palmer together if you so wish. I mean, that's sort of I've been thinking.
4-5-1 or something like that.
Yeah. Just have no money in the front line and stack up heavy in the middle. So we went for our favourite 3 Chelsea. So we both agree on Enzo.
Yeah.
My number 2, I've gone for Chalobah. Just purely for minutes. I think he's the most secure of the defensive 4.
Yeah.
He's shown plenty of attacking threat as well for the last couple of seasons. He's pretty decent for Defcons. 5.5. I think you'll see a price rise because I think he'd be quite a popular pick. So if I was picking a defender from that Chelsea group, I think Chalobah is the safe and steady option.
Yeah, I guess I tend to agree with regards to that, but my only, because again, he's scored a few goals this season from a real small amount of XG from a couple of corners. But I just look at that 5.5 price point, and I just feel there's either better value below him or better value just slightly above him.
Right.
He's in that weird price point where I don't think he adds enough. If Chelsea start keeping those clean sheets, which again I guess the odds are probably in their favour too, then maybe you're right. But I would probably prefer to save the 0.5 and go for someone like Malo Gusto, who again is probably fairly concrete on his minutes now. So
he probably is given, if he's fit. I think you're right, but there's question marks over his fitness. He's been a bit in and out this season, but look, very good when he's been fit. And I think if he is fit, he will be first choice fullback.
Yeah. Alternatively, on the real cheap end, there's obviously is it Achapong? Is that how you pronounce it? I butchered that, but yeah, on the real budget enabler end, obviously he could be a possibility. But again, I think it also potential minutes risk. So yeah, for me, obviously with Rossini liking to have attacking wing backs, I think Malo Gusto is probably better value for money than Cucurella is on the other side.
I was going to say, what would you think if you went 0.5 higher? What would you think the Cucurella over Chalobah?
Again, my skepticism from him is we haven't really seen the attacking output that he achieved last season, and he is renowned for getting those yellow cards cheaply. So that would be my concern, is that you start losing those -1s. Again, I don't know how good he is for Defcons off the top of my head, mate.
Not very good. Not very good at all.
I don't think he's particularly
there.
So yeah, I don't really disagree with your Chalobah pick. He's probably most concrete pick with regards to minutes. He's 4th in the defenders this season, so he must be doing something right. But yeah, I just feel that I'd rather find a little bit more money to upgrade to a higher price point defender, or we've seen such success with those 4.5 to 5 mil defenders so far this season. So
yeah,
I would also wonder if I can save that 0.5 and find a better use of that budget.
Well, I'll tell you where you find that. You pick Enzo, you pick Chalobah, and you go for Jorgensen in goal, and that's how you save that money. He's 4.3 million at the moment, and I think he will be the keeper that Rosina goes with over Sanchez, purely because he's a better ball player, and Rosini will try and use that goalkeeper system where they basically, so the fullbacks push really high, and the goalkeeper then comes out and plays as like a centre half in the build up, and will sit between the two other centre halves who push a little bit wider, and effectively they have 11 men on the pitch, which is the thinking. So you can overload in that position. It's good sort of in theory, but like I say, Palace unlocked it a couple of times against Strasbourg, and it looked amateurish when it broke down. It was bad, and we should have punished them. So whether or not he'll go for it straight away, or he'll try and implement it slowly, I think either way, Jorgensen will be the keeper that he goes with, and you save 0.6 over Sanchez. So there you go.
Well, Sanchez was going to be the only other real Chelsea player that I was going to call out because, again, the players like João Pedro, players like Neto, seem to be players that look good on the eye test, but not on underlying stats. I love watching Pedro Neto.
Yeah,
even watching that first half, he has moments of pure brilliance.
He's very quick and he's very direct.
But again, there's never any end product. Never any.
No.
He very rarely scores unless he scores bangers, the odd banger here and there, and he very rarely gets the assist either. So, it's a little bit underwhelming. And again, I think João Pedro's minutes could be at risk with the likes of Liam Delap as well. So, I look at some of those other attacking forwards, and I don't think you can guarantee those minutes. So, I found it when you asked me to pick three. I was thinking, oh God, I'm going to.
Does that mean you're not going to go for a Chelsea triple up?
I don't think so. I think at very best I will go for two. I definitely will have one in Enzo. I would like, obviously, to get to Palmer if I can, and form makes him worthwhile. Other than that, I think I'm probably looking at the likes of Gusto to get on the lower end of that defence again, just so I don't have to disrupt my transfer plans too much to get them.
And who do you think he plays up front? Because if you go off the Strasbourg model as like a bit of a maybe a blueprint, he goes for a very physical centre forward. So I can see him playing Delap as that focal point, and maybe even Pedro then plays on the left. But he got so many options on that left. You got Garnacho, Gittins can come in. I personally he'll play Delap more regularly, and maybe interchange him and João Pedro for minutes. So probably both of them are probably non-starters because they won't have 90 minutes under their belt hardly at all. What about then Reece James as an option? I know he's very in and out in terms of his injuries, but when he plays, he scores points.
Yeah, he gets DEFCONs. Again, he's a set piece threat, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's a great option, but for me, he's hard to pick because I don't know what games he's going to start, what games he's not. Because he's certainly getting his minutes managed at this point of his career, which is again very sad because he's not even that old. So clearly he's had a lot of injury troubles in his career.
Certainly has. It is a shame. I was looking at those ownership stats there. Enzo Fernandez only 10.3 owned. I mean, that would be doubled. I mean, I think you got to get on him pretty soon because I think once his game tonight is out of the way, and players get through it unscathed, injury wise, I think you'll see Fernandez brought in en masse.
Yeah, the other one to consider, again, just more of a consideration rather than a thought, but just because I know that he had a good game at the weekend, and I think he's very attacking, is Hato.
Yep.
If he can get minutes at left back over Cucurella, but I think that's probably a big ask. So again, just maybe more of a one to watch from my perspective.
Monitor,
just in case he could be a game changer if he does get minutes.
Cool.
All right, mate.
That one there's for Gav when he watches this. This is just for you, mate. It was this Chelsea chat. Yeah.
I hope you appreciate it.
Yeah, but we couldn't put Drogba in there because apparently he's retired.
And then on to Haaland partners. So I've kind of picked them 3 premiums and probably 3 more budget eccentric offers. So yeah, where do you want to start here? Obviously, Haaland's been firing all cylinders, and I think a lot of these strikers have looked good in parts in recent weeks. So all I think worthy of consideration, depending on your budget.
Yeah,
and I don't. The difficulty here is I don't think there's many wrong answers. It's just timing. It's just put timing and a bit of luck. So let's see if we can put some analysis to that luck.
Well, so we were out of luck by doing our Thiago to Ekitike move for the last few weeks, as we've already said. But it's not going to say Ekitike can't come back and score a double against Burnley. I'm assuming he starts. He looked fresh and raring to go in the cup game. And then they got Bournemouth the following week. So 2 nice fixtures for Liverpool and Ekitike. Watkins, Marlon's just been sold to Roma, which is means that for the time being, unless Villa do recruit in this window, which I'm assuming they're looking, Watkins has all the minutes pretty much to himself. Yeah, expensive, but if you got Ekitike and you're not quite sure, a downgrade to Watkins or a sideways move to Watkins is there. Or the other option is the one we discussed, where you'd strip the money out on that front line and you go Haaland and 2 budget and put all the money in that midfield to allow yourself to get a Palmer, Saka, Bruno Fernandes midfield, and have a really premium midfield with Haaland up front with the likes of Mane or Krupi or Calvert-Lewin as like your budget bench riders that you bring in if and when you think they're going to play. I guess the hard thing on that is knowing when they're going to fire, because in Mane's case, he's playing for the worst team in the league. Although he has looked, he's looked the player. I mean, me and Darren mentioned it a few weeks back. He's looked a very, very good player.
0.8 ownership with 4 returns in 4 starts is pretty impressive, and he certainly has been a catalyst for maybe not their form turning around, because obviously it hasn't just yet, but they've certainly looked better.
Yes,
in the recent weeks. And
yeah. So it's a viable strategy to go with one of them. Whether or not you go for both, I've seen many teams on socials go for both Krupi and Mane and really strip it out. I'm not sure that's quite viable, but Krupi as well. He's proved what a finisher he is. I mean, now that Bournemouth had a few injuries, obviously Semenyo, as we mentioned, leaving, and Cliver going to be out for a few months, Krupi's minutes all of a sudden go up. He was partnered with Evan Nilsson at the weekend, and he's proved to be a great finisher.
He's a big talent. I followed him quite a while. His time in French football.
Yeah,
and he is a serious talent. And I think we're definitely starting to see it. Some of his goals, spectacular finisher. So yeah, I tend to agree. Again, I don't think there's a wrong answer here on which to pick, because I think, like you said, I think Krupi's minutes are pretty solid for the medium to short term. So, and then obviously you've got Calvert-Lewin again there, a little bit more expensive than the other, but I think gettable if you are, moving off a premium target to move money into your midfield, for example. Again, obviously on fire. I guess the only thought process for Calvert-Lewin is you don't know how long that's going to be.
He's like King Troll of FPL, isn't he?
Or Leeds have a downturn in form. But yeah, so far he's he's bucking the trends. He's the Chris Wood of this season.
He is. He's this season's Chris Wood. He is. So there's one little thing I wanted to mention as we're discussing the Wolves asset. Surprisingly, is tonight is EFL first leg at the semi-final. We had the first game last night. City winning 2-0 away at Newcastle, and looking pretty much guaranteed like they're going to progress to the final. Arsenal 3-1 up, are they?
Yeah.
Tonight away from home, so they look like they're going to progress. Now the knock on is that game week 31 is when the final is scheduled, and that'll obviously be a blank for the two finalists and their opponents in that week. The talk that I've heard in the last week or so is that game will be taken out of week 31 and brought forward to game week 26.
Wow.
Yeah. Because that's the first available midweek. But only, the caveat is only if you've qualified from your European competition. So Arsenal look almost set to qualify in the top 8, so they haven't got a qualifying game to play. Same with City. So they could have their game taken from game week 31 and put into 26. The only caveat to that is that Man City play Palace in 31, and we do have a qualifier in game week 26.
Yours might get pushed to another week somewhere.
So it'd be that, so that'd be moved back. But the Arsenal fixture, I mean, nothing's set in stone right this second, but their fixture in 31 is against Wolves, and that is very likely to be brought forward to game week 26. So Arsenal and Wolves will have a double in 26 potentially, and Arsenal's double will be Brentford and Wolves away. Wow. So if you're looking at just an added something to get one of these strikers in, I think Mane probably ticks the box for that reason.
Easy double game week.
Yeah, I know one of them is against Arsenal, but you still pick up appearance points. You know, just an added little thing I thought I'd throw in there, especially with Arsenal's result tonight.
Chelsea just scored again, so it's 3-2.
Oh dear. Maybe I spoke too soon.
Maybe. But yes, again, worth considering, right?
Absolutely. And then, I mean, Arsenal's fixture swing is pretty impressive from now as well. So you're probably looking at an Arsenal triple up, but I think most people probably have at least double Arsenal already, I would assume.
Yeah, at the very least. So they're probably prepared for it, right?
Yeah.
With regards to the premium strikers, obviously you and I own Ekitike.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking to move away from him?
No. No. I mean, I'm not sure about my Liverpool assets. I mean, I'm seriously considering bringing in a third asset for Liverpool this week and having Ekitike, Gakpo, and Virgil. I'm sticking my flag in Liverpool camp that they'll just continue to score goals, and they've been pretty solid at the back in the last few weeks. So I'm not sure what to do with Ekitike. He might come and score a hat-trick on the weekend, and everyone wants him again. That's what I'm hoping. I guess if he blanks, then maybe it's a different conversation. But I haven't really thought about that position. I'm looking at my Cunha position. I've got to get that guy gone. So I haven't really looked at anything else other than that.
Agreed. Okay. And I guess lastly on Thiago, obviously my opinion is we may have missed a boat. What's your thoughts on?
Yeah, I think fixtures turn ugly for Brentford, but he is a sit and forget. As we mentioned, he's a 90-minute man. Will play every game. He's on penalties. He will return in those 5 games. He's definitely not a sell if you have him, but probably not a buy if you don't have him. So I can't see myself going back to him.
Okay, cool. Should we move on to our game week 22 teams and decisions?
Sure. Do we have Darren's team as a part of this week?
Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully I've updated everyone's correctly. So again, I was doing it late last night, so forgive me if I forgot to swap anyone's pictures.
I thought it was your thing. That was your trademark.
Yeah, it's my little trademark.
Yeah. All looks
So
good.
you've got 3 options for your transfer plans.
Mhm.
With a singular transfer from Cunha to Enzo, obviously for the Chelsea fixture swing.
Yep.
And you've got 2 options, Cunha and Xhaka, both out, to either Enzo and Gakpo or Enzo and Rice.
Mhm.
And you're tempted by the Chelsea triple up going forward.
Mhm.
So where's your current head at? Obviously, this is your current squad as is. Where's your current thought process?
So I've only got one transfer to use, and I've played the game this season extremely passively, and I'm a little bit annoyed. I haven't taken any hits. I've taken sort of risks really. I've played a driven game this year, which is very unlike me. I thought I'd try and do the analytical side of it more, and I think doing that route, you don't watch the games like I would normally. So I want to get back to a little bit more gut feel, instinct, knowing the game type sort of play. So Cunha out has got to happen because they've got City and Arsenal, and players returning from AFCON, and I think Cunha's minutes could be squeezed in that lineup. Plus, I want to move to Bruno Fernandes at some point because he'll be playing in that 10 role. I'm pretty sure under Carrick, and I think that's definitely the play to get him in. So I need to find some money somewhere. So it's downgrading Cunha. Initially, it was just to Enzo to free up the money, and then when Foden has the Wolves fixture in 2 weeks, changing that position to Bruno Fernandes. But I don't ever play Xhaka. He's just sitting on my bench doing nothing, just collecting yellow cards, really. So I thought, why not take a -4 as an option? Just go for a 2-week punt on Gakpo because the fixtures are great. I think Gakpo is underrated as a footballer and an FPL option. His minutes aren't brilliant, but I think he's guaranteed starts in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And if I don't go for Rice, it means that I can go back to the Arsenal double. So when Van Dijk finally does my head in, like he then becomes Timber, and you go to the double Arsenal defence. So I'm undecided on that second move. Enzo's definitely coming in this week. The second move, I'm not sure which way to go, Gakpo or Rice. It's a coin toss.
Obviously, Rice is the top performing midfielder currently. Again, I haven't seen all the goals for the Arsenal game, obviously, because we've been chin wagging. But I know our first goal was from a set piece.
Yep.
So, a Rice delivery. So he's been on fire with those set pieces this year. And my only concern with Gakpo is his minutes. I think he would be a short-term play.
Yeah.
You see, once Salah returns properly, where does Gakpo go in? But yeah, I think if you're looking for a short-term punt, obviously they've got the worst defence in the Premier League statistically this year. Up next, so if it's a short-term punt, then maybe Gakpo is the risk worth playing, especially if you're taking a -4 to do it. I don't know whether I would take a -4 to bring Rice in.
Well, the other option is to go for the double Arsenal defence, but bring Rice in for Saka and use that money for Palmer, probably in the Foden position. I've seen lots of teams going without Saka because for his price tag, I don't think he's probably delivering the points for a 10.4 million player. Whereas Rice being 3 million less is doing the business.
Again, the thing with Saka for me is his underlying numbers are incredible.
Yeah,
he's up there with the best players in the league for what he's doing on the pitch without getting the results currently.
Yeah.
So it feels like it's coming, whether it be a couple of goals in a game or consistent point scoring in over a couple of week periods or something along those lines. But yeah, I do understand what you're saying. I must admit, if I was on Rice and not Saka over the last 4 to 6 game weeks, I know who the happier owners will be.
Well, you'd be up on points, wouldn't you? If you over Rice, over Saka, you'd be way up on points and £3 million better off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
that £3 million just be burning a hole in me.
Well,
budget.
Yeah, you'd have wasted it somewhere. Yeah, yeah. So, what do you think to my overall moves? What would you do?
The Cunha and Enzo obviously makes 100% sense. Yeah. I think I would, if you're looking to take the -4, if you're looking to take the risk in trying to, claw back some points you've lost over previous weeks, then yeah, I think Gakpo might be the play to pick. One, because he's not highly owned, and two, in the short term, his minutes are probably pretty solid.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously it's quite a short term move. So I guess as long as you've got a plan to exit him, that would be what I would suggest.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, I was sad to see our ranks. I must admit, when I was pulling these slides together, mate, so sad that I forgot to put the red arrows in.
Well, do you know what? I was going to say you've done it on purpose just to ease the pain. I mean, I've never had a season where I've slid backwards after getting to a really solid position, and I've doubled my ranking in the last 6 weeks.
So I think I'm in a similar boat to you. I'm probably looking to make maybe at least 2 transfers this week. I've been meaning to get on Gabriel for weeks and haven't pulled the trigger. One last week never felt quite right, obviously playing Liverpool. And then, of course, we play out a boring 0-0 draw, as always.
Yeah.
And yeah, the previous week, I can't remember why, but for whatever reason, I didn't pull the trigger and get him in then. Mainly because I need to make 2, obviously, based on the level of funding I've got in that defence. I need to make at least 2 transfers to get him in.
What have you got? Three transfers to use?
Yeah, I've got 3 transfers to use. Yeah. So my current feeling is obviously get rid of O'Reilly for Gabriel, but then I'd need to downgrade someone in the midfield. And that's where I'm a little bit stuck, because originally I was thinking Semenyo, because I was unsure with how he was going to settle in at Man City.
Yeah.
But then after seeing how he has settled in over the FA Cup, I think it'd be pretty harsh of Pep to all of a sudden put him on the bench. But again, I would not be surprised the slightest if he's on the bench for Man United. So this is where the catch-22 is, because again, Foden's form, 5 blanks in a row now, it's been pretty poor, and he's looked lively in some of those games. His underlying stats are okay, not wonderful.
At least you had some returns when you did get on him. I mean, as soon as I got on him, he stopped playing.
Yeah, I was very lucky over those. I think it was 2 or 3 game weeks where he was hauling for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, my gut feel currently is O'Reilly and Foden.
Okay.
To Gabriel and Enzo, which again feels a little bit template, but I am quite untemplate across other positions within my team. So I think I'm allowed to be a little bit template every now and again. And then that fifth midfield spot, that 3rd transfer that I've got that's available free. My gut feel is to let it roll just in case there are any emergencies in coming weeks. Is probably the right thing to do. But also I look at Stack and go, God, he's okay. He's okay.
He's all right. He ticks along, yeah.
He ticks along. He's getting the odd DEFCON here and there. He gets the odd assist when he's on my bench. But yeah, I could obviously upgrade him to Wilson, who again, at the moment is a 90-minute man. Seems to be the guy for Fulham. Fulham's form's pretty concrete at the moment. And then obviously they've got Leeds away next, who love to concede goals.
So do you have the money to do those 3 this week?
Yeah.
Very tempting.
Yeah, but then obviously if I do those three, then I probably would have to drop someone like Raul Jimenez to the bench because I'd probably, obviously, if you're going to make a transfer, you need to play him, right? So
yeah,
it would probably O'Reilly and Foden out for Enzo and Gabriel straight into the starting lineup there, and then Raul Jimenez out probably more likely if I was to bring Wilson in to make a 3-5-2.
And surely Dorgu with the Afghan lads in Burmo and Diallo returning to United, surely Dorgu's running that team comes to an end?
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. He's such low, I guess, on the budget. I'm not in any rush to get him out. Again, I'd have to upgrade him realistically. Again, I'd probably have enough or near enough when I start making some more moves because, I assume I will probably either move off Ekatike in the near future, maybe even Rodgers as an example, because I think Bear's fixtures get a little bit tougher soon. So there'll probably be those type of moves coming because I don't have much money, as you can see in that defence.
And have you thought about any chip usage these early weeks since having them reset?
Not quite. I haven't got my head out the sand really since the chips have been reset. Obviously, being away for the last 2 game weeks, I haven't really thought too much into my strategy going forward. I know a lot of people are wildcarding this week. I saw.
Yeah, I think it's to get
discuss that, which seems a bit early to me.
Well, we highlighted the fixture strings for Arsenal and the Chelsea one. I think people are just getting on board that with the wild card as opposed waiting and using transfers to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be the play. It might turn out to be the way forward. But I think with the doubles and blanks just around the corner, I think it's pretty wise to hold back and probably use your wild cards around those doubles.
Sure. And I guess the last thought process is I'm tempted for Ekatike as captain pick this week, but again, I know Haaland will be very popular playing Man United, so again, I don't want to be banned because after 2 bad weeks, the last thing you want is a Haaland haul when you captured someone else.
You're not on him, yeah, exactly, yeah. Although watching City last night, Haaland was a passenger. Hardly had a kick.
Yeah, I think we say that quite a lot about Erling Haaland when he goes and scores a hat trick with 3 touches. So
true.
I think that's how good he is. Let's go on to Darren. Last but not least,
the red arrow. Green arrow last week.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this once and once only, and I'm glad Darren's not here to take the compliment on board. I looked at his team, and I must admit, I was a little bit jealous. I thought for once, Darren's probably set his team up pretty damn well.
Yeah, hasn't he? That midfield is got all the tick players there. Yeah. Frimpong's a spicy little pick.
The only one I don't agree with is I would have probably kept Cherky instead of Doku. I think Cherky's a much more reliable pick. I think he's got more flair and goals in him, and more end product. And I would be concerned about Doku's 90 minutes. But other than that, I can't really argue too much with his squad.
Well, he brought in Enzo and Rice this week. It's true. It's 2 free transfers, which is I couldn't believe it. I mean, when he posted his options to us, I was like, no way, no way. He's actually gone for the 2 options that make the most sense. I mean, that's really not like him. But he's got Arsenal cover in defence. Frimpong, let's say, is a spicy pick. Matty Cash is a good option as well, I think, for Villa.
Yeah.
He's got a bit of Palace coverage, and Gay's been solid. That midfield has got all the differential spices in Wilson and Doku and a bit of Bruno G, which he's been banging on about all season. And then he's gone Watkins to partner Haaland, which is fab. I can't really fault that at all, apart from the Doku pick. But he's that sort of player that can go off at any game week. Unless you have him in the team, you don't benefit from it. and he's more than capable of picking up a couple of assists in any given game week. But he is a massive part of that pep roulette, isn't he, Doc? You can't rely on his minutes for one bit.
Yeah, I think him and Saka are right up there with chances created. So I think, I can see why Darren's picked him. I think minutes-wise, I think Cherky might have been a more reliable pick. But yeah, I don't think I could, for once, I haven't got anything really to critique. And the fact he's got 3.9 mil left in the bank as well.
That's crazy.
Jesus. It's almost as if he's listening for a change.
Well, we know he's not, but maybe he is.
Last week as well, against an average of, I think it was like 47.
Way above it. Yeah, a great week.
And another very good week for him. So
good.
Yeah, fair play to him.
Absolutely.
I think that's it. I haven't got much more to discuss with you, Scott. Do you have any lasting remarks going into game week 22 for everybody?
No. I wish everyone the best. Obviously, like and subscribe. What you want to do about it. You don't have to. I would if I was watching, which I will. I love watching myself back. It's fab. I know you avoid it, Paul, because you don't do it.
I can't stand watching myself.
To be honest, I don't watch it back either. But no, I wish everyone the best. We're ranked 400 in the world now, 400,000. Have you reassessed your overall goals for the year? I mean, I'm still trying to aim for top 20k. I think it's still doable, but it needs to happen from this week on.
To be honest, I think if I can get close to top 250k, I think I'd be pretty happy. I think that's probably as high as I've ever been, to be honest, for a very long while at the very least. I have to go back through the archives probably to find when I was last close to that type of ranking. So yeah, I think if I can keep going, I think that's probably the aim. Just try not to fall off, because I think that's the problem with FPL. You can have a few bad weeks, let it get to you, and all of a sudden your decision making goes out the window.
You rage wild card in triple Chelsea, and and
take a -8 out of nowhere.
It's very tempting last week. I've got to say,
goalkeeper transfers or something crazy. So all right, mate. Well, thanks again. Have a good game week 22, and I'll speak to you next week.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye.